Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayanti Nashtuprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, today we are starting new chapter, chapter 3, Yamraj instructs his messengers. Text 1. Shri Raja Vacha Nishamya Deva Svabhatopavarnitam Pratyaha Kim Tanapi Dharma Raja Evam Hatagyu Vihatan Murarir Nadeshi Karyasya Vasho Jano Ayam. King Parikshit said, O my lord, O Shukdev Goswami, Yamraj is a controller of all living entities in terms of their religious and irreligious activities. But his order had been foiled. When his servants, the Yamdutas, informed him of their defeat by the Vishnudutas, who had stopped them from arresting Ajamil, what did he reply? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that although the statements of the Yamdutas were fully upheld by the Vedic principles, the statements of the Vishnudutas were triumphant. This was confirmed by Yamraj himself. So they both were arguing or discussing Yamdutas and Vishnudutas. They were arguing properly with the proper knowledge. Yamasya devasya na dandabhanga kutasya narshe shrutapurva asit etan mune vrishchati loka sanshayam nahi tadanya itime vinishchitam. O great sage, never before has it been heard anywhere that an order from Yamaraj has been baffled. Therefore, I think people will have doubts about this and that no one but you can eradicate. Since that is my firm conviction, kindly explain the reasons for these events. Text 3. Shri Shukuvacha Bhagavad Purusha Rajan Yamya Prati Hatodhyamaha Patim Vigyapayama Sur Yamam Sayam Manipitam Patim. Sri Shukdev Goswami replied, My dear king, when the order carriers of Yamaraj were baffled and defeated by the order carriers of Vishnu, they approached their master, the controller of Samyamini Puri and master of sinful persons, to tell him of this incident. Yamduta uchuhu kati santi shastaro jivalokasya vai prabhu Travidyam kurvatah karma phalabhi vyakti hetvaha. Yamduta said, Our dear Lord, how many controllers or rulers are there in this material world? How many causes are responsible for manifesting the various results of activities performed under the three modes of material nature, Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamam? So the first question was, how many controllers are there? We thought you are the only controller. You're the supreme controller. But it looks like there are more than one because some other guys came and they just stopped us. They could have beaten us up also. We just ran away from there. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the Yamdutas, the order carriers of Yamaraj, were so disappointed that they asked their master, almost in great anger, whether there were many masters other than him. Furthermore, because the Yamdutas had been defeated and their master could not protect them, they were inclined to say that there was no need to serve such a master. If a servant cannot carry out the orders of his master without being defeated, what's the use of serving such a powerless master? So they were complaining, they were angry, they were afraid, everything. So many emotions with the Yamdutas. Yadi syura bahavo loke shastaro dandadharina kasya syatam na vakasya mrityuschamritameva va. If in this universe there are many rulers and justices who disagree about punishment and reward, their contradictory actions will neutralize each other and no one will be punished or rewarded. Otherwise, if their contradictory acts fail to neutralize each other, everyone will have to be both punished and rewarded. Because the Yamdutas had been unsuccessful in carrying out the order of Yamaraj, they doubted whether Yamaraj actually had the power to punish the sinful. Although they had gone to arrest Ajamil following Yamaraj's order, they found themselves unsuccessful because of the order of some higher authority. Therefore, they were unsure of whether there are many authorities or only one. If there were many authorities who gave different judgments, which could be contradictory, a person might be wrongly punished or wrongly rewarded, or he might be neither punished nor rewarded. According to our experience in the material world, a person punished in one court may appeal to another. Thus, the same man may be either punished or rewarded according to different judgments. However, in the law of nature or the court of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there cannot be any such contradictory judgments. The judges and the judgments must be perfect and free from contradictions. Actually, the position of Yamraj was very awkward in the case of Ajamil because the Yamdutas were right in attempting to arrest Ajamil, but the Vishnudutas had baffled them. Although Yamraj, under these circumstances, was accused by both the Vishnudutas and the Yamdutas, he is perfect in administering justice because he is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he will explain what his real position is and how everyone is controlled by the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead. So, very awkward situation for Yamrajji. He is a Mahajan, he is a controller of death, and everybody follows his orders. But today, Yamdutas came back defeated by Vishnudutas, and they're asking him questions. What is this? What is that? How come? Is there any one rule, or are there many rules about punishment and reward? Actually, there is only one rule. But but if somebody above Yamraj wants to pardon somebody, then Yamraj cannot do anything. Just like even in any country, the Supreme Court can punish, can award some criminal punishment, but the president or prime minister of the country can still pardon him. So the Supreme Court justice cannot say this is wrong. It is completely right because that is the power of the president. So this is what Yamaraj knew, but Yamdutas didn't know. Kintu Shastri Bahutve Syad Bahunam Ih Karminam Shastritvam Upacharohi Yatha Mandalavartinam. The Yamdutas continued, since there are many different karmis or workers, there may be different judges or rulers to give them justice. But just as one central emperor controls different departmental rulers, there must be one supreme controller to guide all the judges. In governmental management, there may be department officials to give justice to different persons, but the law must be one, and that central law must control everyone. The Yamdutas could not imagine that two judges would give two different verdicts in the same case, and therefore they wanted to know who the central judge is. The Yamdutas were certain that Ajamil was the most sinful man, but although Yamaraj wanted to punish him, the Vishnudutas excused him. This was a puzzling situation that the Yamdutas wanted Yamaraj to clarify. So they wanted to know, is there one judge or many judges? And how come all the judges are giving different judgments for the same crime, same person? त्वमेको भूतानां सेश्वराणाम् अधीश्वरः शास्त्रदण्डधरो नृणां शुभाशुभ विवेचनः. The supreme judge must be one, not many. It was our understanding that you are that supreme judge, and that you have jurisdiction even over the demigods. Our impression was that you are the master of all living entities, the supreme authority who discriminates between the pious and impious activities of all human beings. तस्ते विहितो दंडो न लोके वर्तते अधुना चतुर्भिर अद्भुतः सिद्धैर आज्ञाते विप्रलंबिता. But now we see that the punishment ordained under your authority is no longer effective, since your order has been transgressed by 4 wonderful and perfect persons. The Yamdutas had been under the impression that Yamraj was the only person in charge of administering justice. They were fully confident that no one could counteract his judgments. But now, to their surprise, his order had been violated by the 4 wonderful persons from Siddhaloka. Well, they thought they were from Siddhaloka, but the Vishnudutas came from Vaikuntha. Niyamanam tavadesha dasmabhyar yatana griham vyamochayan pat kimam chitva pashan prasayate. We were bringing the most sinful Ajamil toward the hellish planets, following your order, when those beautiful persons from Siddhaloka forcibly cut the knots of the ropes with which we were arresting them. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks that the Yamdutas wanted to bring the Vishnudutas before Yamaraj. If Yamaraj could then have punished the Vishnudutas, the Yamdutas would have been satisfied. So they were so angry, basically. Tanste veditum ichchamo yadi no manyase kshamam narayaneti abhihite ma dharityaya yurdritam. As soon as the sinful Ajamil uttered the name Narayan, these 4 beautiful men immediately arrived and reassured him, saying, "Do not fear, do not fear. We wish to know about them from your lordship. If you think we are able to understand them, kindly describe who they are." So far even Yamraji must be thinking, what are these guys talking about? But as soon as they said Narayan, then Yamraji understood what's going on. The order carriers of Yamraj, being very much aggrieved because of their defeat by the 4 Vishnudutas, wanted to bring them before Yamraj and, if possible, punish them. Otherwise, they desired to commit suicide. Before pursuing either course, however, they wanted to know about the Vishnudutas from Yamraj, who is also omniscient. So Yamraji is omniscient by the mercy of the Lord. Shri Badarayan Uvacha iti deva sa aprishta praja sanyam mano yamaha prita swadhutana pratyaha smaran padam bhujam hare. Shri Shukdev Goswami said, thus having been cautioned, Lord Yamaraj, the supreme controller of the living entities, was very pleased with his order carriers because of hearing from them the holy name of Narayan. He remembered the lotus feet of the Lord and began to reply. Now this is a Vaishnava, this is a devotee. As soon as he heard the name Narayan from his messengers, Yamdutas, he was very pleased with them. And he also started thinking, he remembered the lotus feet of the Lord. So he also started thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. And obviously he's a devotee, he's a Mahajan. So I'm sure he was having lots of emotions. Hearing the name of Narayan, especially in the situation where he is when he has to punish so many people, and in the middle of that service, somebody comes and reminds him of Narayan, how pleased he must be. Srila Yamaraj, the supreme controller of the living entities in terms of their pious and impious activities, was very pleased with the servants because they had chanted the holy name of Narayan in his dominion. Yamaraj has to deal with men who are all sinful and who can hardly understand Narayan. Consequently, when his order carriers uttered the name Narayan, he was extremely pleased, for he is also a Vaishnava. Yamavacha Paramadanya Jagatastattasthushaschа Otam Protam Pat Vadya Atra Vishwam Yadanshato Asya Sthiti Janmanasha Nasyot Vad Yasya Vashe Chaloka. Yamaraji said, my dear servants, you have accepted me as a supreme, but factually I'm not. Above me and above all the other demigods, including Indra and Chandra, is one supreme master and controller, the partial manifestation of his personality of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who are in charge of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this universe. He is like the two threads that form the length and breadth of a woven cloth. The entire world is controlled by him, just as a bull is controlled by a rope in its nose. So Yamraji is from outward, outright he's saying, I'm not the supreme controller. So far I didn't tell you guys, but I'm not. There's somebody above me. The order carriers of Yamraj suspected that there was a ruler even above Yamraj. To eradicate their doubts, Yamraj immediately replied, yes, there is one supreme controller above everything. Yamraj is in charge of some of the moving living entities, namely the human beings, but the animals who also move are not under his control. Only human beings have consciousness of right and wrong. And among them, only those who perform sinful activities come under the control of Yamaraj. Therefore, although Yamaraj is a controller, he is only a departmental controller of a few living entities. Of course, they are unlimited, but compared to all the number of living entities, he is only controller of human beings, that to those who perform sinful activities. So he's not even controller of the devotees. There are other demigods who control many of the departments, but above them all is one supreme controller, Krishna. Ishvara Paramaha Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. The supreme controller is Krishna. Others who control their own departments in the affairs of the universe are insignificant in comparison to Krishna, the supreme controller. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Matta Paratram Nanyam. My dear Dhananjaya Arjun, no one is superior to me. Therefore, Yamaraj immediately cleared away the doubts of his assistants, the Yamdutas, by confirming that there is a supreme controller above all others. Srila Madhvacharya explains that the words Otam Protam refer to the cause of all causes. The Supreme Lord is both vertical and horizontal to the cosmic manifestation. This is confirmed by the following verse from Skanda Purana. Like two threads, horizontal and vertical, of which a quilt is manufactured, Lord Vishnu is situated as a vertical and horizontal cause of the cosmic manifestation. So Yamraji right away said, there is a controller, supreme controller above me. I'm not the supreme. And that controller, he is the controller of everybody, Brahma, Shiva, all the demigods, everybody. And how he says, he's like the two threads that form the length and breadth of a woven cloth. So in a cloth, there are only two threads. One go one direction, the others go perpendicular to that. There's nothing else. So similarly, Krishna, according to Yamraji, Krishna is that those two threads means there is nothing except Krishna in the whole manifestation. Whether Krishna personally or his energy or his expansions or his incarnations, everything is his. There's nothing beyond, nothing except than him. And this whole world is controlled by him. Nothing is beyond his control either. Yo nam bhir vachi janam nijaya padnati tantrayame nam bhirga yasme balim taime nam karma nibandh baddhash chakita vahanti. Just as a driver of a bullock cart ties ropes through the nostrils of his bulls to control them, the Supreme Personality of Godhead binds all men through the ropes of his words in the Vedas, which set forth the names and activities of the distinct orders of human society, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. In fear, the members of these orders all worship the Supreme Lord by offering him presentations according to their respective activities. So this is how everybody is controlled. Everything, everybody, every living entity is controlled by Krishna. And how, in the example given, binds all men through the ropes of his words in the Vedas. Whether we believe in all this or not hardly matters. We cannot run away from the laws of Krishna. In this material world, everyone is conditioned, regardless of who he is. One may be a human being, a demigod, or an animal, tree, or plant, but everything is controlled by the laws of nature. And behind this natural control is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed by Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. The material nature is working under my direction in producing all moving and non-moving beings. Thus, Krishna is behind the natural machine, which works under his control. Apart from other living entities, a living being in the human form of body is systematically controlled by the Vedic injunctions in terms of the divisions of Varna and Ashram. A human being is expected to follow the rules and regulations of Varna and Ashram. Otherwise, he cannot escape punishment by Yamraj. The point is that every human being is expected to elevate himself to the position of a Brahman, the most intelligent man, and then one must transcend that position to become a Vaishnava. This is the perfection of life. The Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra can elevate themselves by worshipping this Lord according to their activities. The divisions of Varna and Ashram are necessary to ensure the proper execution of duties and peaceful existence for everyone. But everyone is directed to worship the Supreme Lord, who is all-pervading. The Supreme Lord exists vertically and horizontally, Otam Protam. And therefore, if one follows the Vedic injunctions by worshipping the Supreme Lord according to one's ability, his life will be perfect. So this is a perfect life to follow the Vedic injunctions, and the human beings are expected to follow. And if we don't, then we get punished. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging his prescribed duties, dharma, according to caste, divisions, and orders of life is to please the Lord Hari. The Varnashram institution offers a perfect process for making one eligible to return home back to Godhead, because the aim of every Varna and ashram is to please the Supreme Lord. One can please the Lord under the directions of a bona fide spiritual master, and if one does so, his life is perfect. The Supreme Lord is worshipable, and everyone worships him directly or indirectly. Those who worship indirectly get some results of liberation quickly, whereas the liberation of those who serve him indirectly is delayed. So those who serve him indirectly, just like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that ye yatha mam prapadyante tas tathaiva bhajami mam vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. So those who surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. And everybody, mam vartma anuvartante. So everybody is serving me, directly or indirectly. That's the thing. If we serve Maya, we are serving Krishna indirectly, because Maya is ultimately Krishna's energy, but that is not direct service. And this is what Prabhupada is saying. The liberation of those who serve him indirectly is delayed. So whether we worship demigods, and we worship them to get some material benefits, means we are trying to serve Maya. And this is indirect service. So might as well serve him directly. The words Namam here, Vachi, are very important. In the Varnashram institution, there are different names: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmacharya, Grastha, Vanapra, Sannyasi. The Vak or Vedic injunctions give directions for all these divisions. Everyone is expected to offer obeisances to the Supreme Lord and perform duties as indicated in the Vedas. So if we do that, then we are serving him, worshipping him directly. And then the liberation can happen quickly. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, while hearing all this, we feel so much, we are so lucky to have Krishna, and just 5,000 years back, he said this, the entire Gita, and we have that with us, and we are reading that. And I mean, someone who is reading Bhagavad Gita, someone who is Krishna conscious, we are so lucky to have him directly, and we are not chanting or praying to any demigods, but just directly to Krishna. So, and he's accepting, that's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, really grateful about that, Prabhuji.
Yeah, and then we should be more resolute to do better and better.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so I guess we can stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri.
Hare Krishna.